time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the blueprint. The major story here says, Naira swap, cashless crisis deepens. Buhari orders 200 Naira recirculation, says policy has lessened insecurity corruption. Allow it work, Emefiele tells Nigerians. Gbajabiamila, CDD faults federal government's disregard for Supreme Court's order. Crisis hurting APC, Dugua tells President. You find all the details on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. To the First News newspaper now. Naira crisis, Buhari under fire over ruling Supreme Court. Buhari under fire over ruling Supreme Court as Gbajabiamila deplores President's declaration, knocks Emefiele over policy. That's the front page of the First News newspaper. Buhari under fire for overruling Supreme Court as Gbajabiamila deplores President's declaration, knocks Emefiele for over policy. All the details on the front page of the First News newspaper. To Nigeria News Direct, contempt of Supreme Court. Gbajabiamila, Falana, Adegboruwa, others blast Buhari CBN. Contempt of Supreme Court, Gbajabiamila, Falana, Adegboruwa, others blast Buhari CBN. And on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper now, President wrong on Naira policy, says Speaker Gbajabiamila. Money scarcity hurting APC, reps lament, says ATMs now wrestling grounds. All the details on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. To the front page of the Daily Trust, Naira redesign, Buhari out to truncate democracy, Ganduje. President counters Supreme Court, insists on ban of old 500 Naira, 1,000 Naira notes. Nigerians recount losses. Nationwide broadcast contempt of court. Lawyers, they remain legal tender in Kaduna, El-Rufai insists. All right, to the Leadership newspaper, Naira swap policy, states vow to fight on against President Muhammadu Buhari's decision. State attorneys general to meet on next line of action. Sam, earlier while we were speaking, you said you were in the bank yesterday. We saw queues. A lot of persons rushed to the bank yesterday after the broadcast.
Some of them went to the bank and they wanted to go to ATM. They said, well, there's no money. The security man said, he said, anytime, you see in this bank, he said, if you don't see crowd there, you know that there's no money in it. You know that there's nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. It's terrible. But what is going on now is actually the beginning, if we don't curb it, of a constitutional crisis that we're having. When the head of the country decides that it's bigger than the law. That is what we are finding. And I've been saying it before, that we're having not just a constitutional crisis or democratic crisis, we're also having a crisis of federalism. And so you can see now that the governors
are insisting
that, you know, the 1,500 Naira notes remain legal tenders because the Supreme Court has ruled. President Buhari is no higher than myself as a citizen of this country before the law. It's not bigger than the market seller. Muhammadu Buhari is not bigger than the schoolboy when it comes to the Constitution of Nigeria. Everybody must obey the law. If you want to rise above the law, it means that you are committing a crime. So what President Buhari has done by defying the law is that he has had contempt of court. And if the Supreme Court is angry enough, they can summon the president for contempt of court because the president is not bigger than the Supreme Court, is not bigger than the law. That is what we are going. That is what El-Rufai is insisting by saying that the courts are the Naira notes are still legal tenders. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
You see, there's a philosopher called Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher. who came with the concept of the Superman. And the Superman is the one who has broken every law and so on and so on. And you know, Nietzsche is in love with dictators, with strong men, and some people said it was because of his ideas and ideas of other philosophers, you know, after him, that people like, you know, Hitler emerged. Franco, and all of that, and so on. Dostoevsky, in his novel Crime and Punishment, talked about this kind of idea that there are some people who in history, like Napoleon, tend to believe that they can rise above the law. They want to be like Solon. They want to be like Christ, like Muhammad, and so on. That they want to rise, that the laws do not matter as far as they are concerned. And somehow the people carry them and accept them like that to go against the law. You know, such people, such ideas create what we call delusion of grandeur. You cannot believe that people call you Baba, people call you leader, they call you this. So you put it upon yourself that you are bigger than the law. But this is what you call delusion of grandeur, because people who did it in the past, people like Solon, people like Napoleon, who did it in the past, they did it as dictators. They didn't do it in constitutional environment. That is why the Constitution says, we the people.
Right.
We the people. When the French leader, Louis XIV, said, I am the state, was saying it as a dictator. But even then, we have what we call the Shakespearean we. When the leader says I, when he says we, he's saying it on behalf of the people, but he's saying it with a sense of responsibility that it is not me alone, but it's all of us.
Right.
That's the whole idea. So for him to come and arrogate to himself the power to defy the Constitution is daring the Nigerian people to say, okay, I'm bigger than your law. I am your father. I create the law in this place. But the governors are saying, you have no such right. Say, stop it there, Baba. You have no such right. You cannot impose. You cannot be an emperor in a dictatorship. You cannot be a dictator, sorry, in a democracy.
In a democracy, yeah.
You cannot be a dictator in a republican setting. That is what they're saying.
But Emefiele is insisting that we should allow this work. Emefiele,
as I've always said, is a man to be pitied in this generation. I don't want to, I'm on television, there are adjectives and nouns that I can pour on Emefiele. But all I can say is that it's a marionette. It's a puppet, or who's been thrown, who they are using strings to pull about the place on the national stage. That's what he's doing. He does not understand he's talking about the mechanics of finance. He does not understand the sociology of finance. He does not understand the humanity of finance. It's just like the president's speech yesterday. He just gave a one-liner sentence about sympathy with Nigerians. The whole issue is about suffering. His speech was about economy. Do you have inflation do you create inflation on the back of the people? The people die because you want to create a good economy. The people die because you want to get a good exchange rate. If you have good exchange rate, you have a good inflation, and people die. What's the purpose?
Right.
That is why in the scripture they said, the Sabbath is made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. He said, you do not do good on the Sabbath day. That's just what I asked them. You do not do good on the Sabbath day? He said it. So we don't create laws to destroy people. We create laws for men. We create economy so that people can enjoy. When you create an economy and people cannot, you create new money and people cannot spend the money, what is the idea?
Right. Now, we still have February the 22nd, where the Supreme Court will hear the matter. That's what it is as it stands. Only, I don't know what kind of picture you see now that governors are insisting that the 500 naira, 1,000 naira remain a legal tender. And then across some parts of the country, there are those who are still refusing to accept
I think one of the significant things about the governors suing the federal government is that a PDP governor joined them in the person of Aminu Tambuwa of Sokoto State. Because he understands too that this is not a PDP matter, because the candidates of the PDP and Labour Party, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, they are dead from the neck up on this matter. They've spoken nothing after saying that it's inconvenience, little inconvenience. They are gloating over the suffering of the Nigerian people for partisan advantage, which is very cynical. To say the least of it is evil. For you to keep quiet, you say you want to change, you want to enact the welfare of the people. The people are suffering on an issue, and you are dead from the neck up. You speak nothing. You say nothing. You become the friends of the president that was your enemy only a month ago. Now you are now eating in the same pot.
Right.
Chewing the same, chopping the same zungu in the same pot. It is amazing. It is Machiavellian. It is diabolical. It is unacceptable.
The issue now is Nigerians can't even find the 200 naira notes.
Interesting. Do we even have enough 200 naira notes to replace the 1,000 naira? Because the new 1,000 naira notes are nowhere to be found, or the new 500 naira notes are nowhere to be found.
The old 200 naira are nowhere to be found.
So we are living in an invisible economy.
Recall that the governor El-Rufai had spoken before the president made that broadcast.
Yes.
That the government had approached them that they should withdraw the matter from the court and proposed made this proposition that the president broadcast on yesterday. And they said that the 500 naira, the 1,000 naira had been destroyed, and that is why the 200 naira is what is available.
Let them show us the picture of the bonfire.
Okay.
There's a novel called The Bonfire of the Vanities. Let us see how the bonfire has turned the naira into vanity before we believe them. Because El-Rufai said they did that, but they know that the banks, the commercial banks, still have the old banknotes in their vaults.
Right.
Yes.
Because people
they should not involve themselves in public mendacity. They should not be lying to the people. First of all, you lie to the people, then you oppress the people. Two evils committed by government of democracy. And then the third one is that the leader says that I'm above the law. We're in a democracy. We're not in a military dictatorship. He was a military dictator one time. He said he has converted. He has converted. Obviously, he has not.
Right.
He still has a military temperament, and he thinks that we are boys down on the hierarchy to which he can issue orders. We can't take orders from anybody in a democracy.